how to maximize marketing efforts without maxing out time and money.
Yeah, so the number one thing I would be focusing on would be conversion rate optimization or like
Mm-hmm.
optimizing your email marketing. So
Mm,
those are two things that you own. So your email marketing as your first
mm,
party data, you own that list already, and
yeah.
they're already familiar with you because they've signed up to it. So
Yeah.
making sure that's optimized as hell. A lot of Shopify brands will just use the automated abandoned cart sequence, but there is so much more
Yeah.
you can do with softwares like Klaviyo and stuff like that, segmenting it into
Yeah.
list and running different offers or like marketing campaigns during that. G'day, I'm Lockie and welcome to D2C Slingshot, a podcast where we interview brand founders and industry experts to help you out on your own journey, and I hope you enjoyed this episode.
Okay, well, maybe you should just say what you do,
Yeah.
like why you're an expert in this. So what do you do, Lucky?
So I'm a Facebook marketer. I've been doing this for over 4 years. I've worked with over 35 brands directly and generated millions of profitable dollars via Facebook ads. So yeah, that's pretty much what I do.
Nice. Good job. Okay, so in your opinion, how should small businesses be prepping for Q4? Like what needs to be set up now to make the most of it?
Yeah, so a lot of businesses, especially small businesses at the moment, don't even have their tracking set up correctly. So the first thing I would
Mm,
do is jump onto YouTube or jump onto Shopify support or message somebody like myself to get that implemented and set up correctly as soon as possible. Even if you're not advertising, you should always be collecting that data on the Facebook pixel or your TikTok pixel or anything like that. So you have that data ready to go and retarget people once it does actually hit the sale period and people start advertising. Now, ideally, you're advertising all year round, but yeah,
mm,
that tracking really needs to be set up to work efficiently. So yeah, that's number
for
one.
sure.
Number
Yeah.
two would be to start sort of planning your offers, making double checking your product margins and stuff like that, and make sure you're actually leaving enough for advertising during that period as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, just setting out like your content strategy and stuff like that based around that core offer that you're going to be offering during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Christmas, Halloween, if you're doing that type of stuff as well.
Yeah, I feel like prepping, they really need to go back to basics and make sure all of those like core pillars are set up so that you can build from there. Like, is your website easy to navigate? Do you have your automated email flow set up? Do you have your tracking pixel set up? All of that. Because if you don't, I feel like it's gonna be wild. It's
Yeah.
gonna be wild.
Yeah, and gone are the days of just running it like a 20% off discount site wide sort of thing
Mm,
as well. Unless you're like a
mm,
really established brand that's been advertising all year round, you haven't really gone on sale yet, you might be able to get away with it then. But as small businesses, you really need to stand out above the crowd because like
yeah.
CPMs are going to rise. There's going to be that much competition. You need an extremely strong offer, and 20% off isn't going to cut it, or making people sign up to your email list to get 10% off isn't going to cut it
Mm,
because they expect that all year round anyway. So creating things like bundles and like Christmas based packages and or gift packages or gift guides and stuff like that is going to be super useful to cut through some of that
mm.
noise.
Yeah, for sure. I think also on that note, like nurturing the audience as well. Sorry, can you hear the siren in the background?
Yeah, it's fine.
Sorry. Um, okay, so how do you think consumer behavior has changed due to the current economic climate, especially in Australia? And how can businesses adapt to this, especially when it comes to things like the offers?
Yeah, so obviously cost of living, it's a really big issue at the moment. You got the supermarkets
Yeah.
price gouging everybody, and that's where a lot of budget is being spent in every household at the moment. But in
Mm,
saying that, there is still money to be made out there. I've just had a couple of clients come off their biggest months ever, but
yeah.
transparently, I've also lost a client this month because despite their e-commerce growth was trending really positively, like their wholesale side has just been cut out from under them, which is pretty much
Mm,
collapsing the business at the moment. So it is really a
yeah.
difficult time. And currently, if you're like doing better numbers than say you were during the COVID years, or you're even breaking even at the moment, you're probably further ahead compared to other businesses at the moment because I'm
Yeah.
talking to a lot and they're really like their
Struggling.
budgets are struggling. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, if you're sort of breaking even or even ahead at the moment, you're doing better than probably
Yeah.
80% of businesses at the moment.
Yeah, for sure. So, do you have any, like, are there any particular offers that you think will stand out? And I know there's no kind of like hard and fast rule, and it depends on the business and the industry and all of that. But is there anything in your experience that seems to really work, like consistently?
Yeah, so this sort of ties back into like how I shop as well. So
Mm,
bundles, it's like the easiest thing you could possibly do on your
yeah.
website, and it allows the consumer to spend more with you as well, and sort of puts them through a process of them convincing themselves they need to spend that extra money to get those extra bonuses and stuff like that. So if you don't
Mm,
have bundles set up at the moment, that's a great way. Gift guides
yeah.
and like gift bundles and stuff like that. So when I'm shopping for whoever it is, whether it's my girlfriend or my mum or something like that, I'm always looking for like some sort of package or some added value or something like that. And because I'm
Yeah.
buying for so many people, like I really can't be fucked going through
Yeah.
like 20 different websites trying to find all these
Yeah.
little bits and pieces. So if one brand can
May as well.
offer me like a big like bundle for like $200, like I'm just going to
Yeah.
check out there because it's easier. And attention
Yeah.
spans are destroyed at the moment because of TikTok. But
Mm,
buying cycles are becoming longer because budgets are so tight right now. So if you can make it
yeah.
easy for somebody to check out on your store, make less decisions and stuff like that, and make it super
Mm.
easy, then you're going to have more success than somebody who's running a generic 20% off offer.
Yeah, for sure. And I think speaking on that as well, this is where things like um, pop-ups come in handy, like complementary products. You may also like any of that, like making sure you have all of that set up as well. Because, yeah, exactly what you're saying. I think people would rather just buy in the one place,
Yeah.
not have to pay for shipping twice, and just get everything sorted and checked off their list.
Yeah, for sure. Elite Subs gets me all the time. So I buy like protein or creatine or pre workout or whatever, and they
Yeah.
like gamify the experience. So they have all their one click upsells. They do it really well. And then they also have the 3 shipping threshold. So if you spend
Mm,
$100, you get free shipping. Or if you spend 150, you get a free drink bottle. If you spend 200, you
yeah.
get a free like gym towel or something like that. So gamifying
Yeah.
that experience on the website like that, even if it's not going completely to like a gift or it's not
Mm,
complete, like not exactly what you're looking for, just that added
yeah.
value and getting to that next hurdle. And yeah,
For sure.
Australia's a massive like gamblers as well. So I think we're one of the biggest gambling countries in the world. So just gamifying that experience and try to squeeze as
Yeah.
much juice out of every purchase as possible.
Yeah, I think on that as well, the free gift, it doesn't need to be a product necessarily. It could be, say, you make one of your blog posts into an e-guide or something. Or I have another client who does bedtime story podcasts. And it's like maybe you give them access to something that's like just for the VIPs, and that could still be creating value and adding to the gamification of that buying process. Um, yeah, because I know like businesses can't be just giving out free gifts everywhere, but stuff like that can be counted as gifts.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And like you do need to work out what fits in your margin as well and making sure you have
Mm,
stuff left over at the end of the day as well. But even if
yeah.
you aren't making a profit over Black Friday, Cyber Monday, if you actually know your lifetime value and you know that person's going to come back 2, 3, 4, 5
Mm,
times, then you can actually spend more during this period to acquire more customers, get more word of mouth, create that halo effect year on year. But
yeah.
yeah, it is tough if you don't quite know that and you're a bit of a smaller business at the moment.
Yeah. Speaking of smaller businesses, I know sales have been slow for a lot of small to medium-sized businesses or SMEs over the last year. So when sales are low and resources are low, what can a business focus on to really pull through and maximize their revenue?
Yeah, so there's a few things. Like obviously, sales are down. Your morale is probably going to be down as well, and your confidence and
Mm,
everything like that. So, one, if you can find a couple of like-minded business friends or something like that, just to bounce ideas
mm,
off, have a like a couple of chats with throughout the week or something like that, just
yeah.
to like get that confidence back. I think that's going to be
Yeah.
super important. And then number two, making sure you're focusing on the right things during the day to actually push sales forward. You see, like even I do it myself sometimes, like on a bad week, I'll just find myself distracted, working on like different things all over the place, not really working as best I could during that week on
Yeah.
things that actually matter. So, for example, me, like client accounts or sales assets. So, trying to get those new customers and stuff like that. So, it'd be the same for an e commerce brand if you're just sitting there, sort of scrolling through social media or slowly packing orders or like just doing like mind
Mm.
numbing task and not focusing on, hey, how can I improve my website conversion rate, for example? Like
Yeah.
those are like high leverage activities that's going to set you up for success over the long term. And yeah,
Yeah.
that's something that people can just jump onto YouTube and research more about conversion rate optimization. So you're maximizing the
Yeah.
efficiency of everybody who comes to your website, because there's not many going there at the moment, but you want to be making sure you're capturing as many dollars as you possibly can from that audience that is visiting at the moment.
Yeah. I think it's also important to be honest with yourself in terms of like what is actually making money for your business. Because I remember in one of my uni classes in marketing, it was actually for digital marketing, and they were talking about how people are putting a lot of spend into social media, like not even paid ads. I just mean like managing social media accounts. A lot of time and money goes into that. And what we're finding is in more recent years, there's like not so great return compared to some other things like Facebook ads, for example. You can actually see the return. Whereas certain influencers as well, really expensive, little to no return. So I think actually looking at the data and being like, okay, this we tried it, it didn't work out for us. This consistently works out for us. So maybe we should focus our resources here until we can build up money and time again to be able to try different things. I feel
Yeah,
like it's really, yeah.
I think doubling down on what you are currently doing and what you are spending money on and just going a bit
Mm,
harder on that at the moment. So,
mm,
for example, like I spoke with a brand the other day that's spending like $5,000 on Facebook ads at the moment, and they didn't really know how to analyze any of that data at all. They didn't even know what they were
mm.
returning on that spend. So I was
Oh,
like, that's a
wow.
major red flag to start off with.
Yeah,
And then I
yeah.
showed them over the last 2 years, they've actually had $1.8 million in add to cart value, but only 160,000 of that has actually converted. So it's like you guys
Oh,
need to get on top of one, your conversion rate, but then also
yeah,
optimizing for the right marketing objectives in your Facebook ad
yeah.
account. Because yeah, there was so much wasted opportunity in there just because they didn't know how to read that data. And they spent an
Yeah.
hour on YouTube researching Facebook ads and trying to learn or how to get better or getting a consultant in like
Mm,
myself, then they would have fixed that issue faster and
mm.
been able to make more money during this period. So
A lot
yeah,
more money,
why
yeah.
times are like down at the moment and everyone's feeding all these negative thoughts, there are opportunities out there.
Absolutely. I think that's the other thing, trying to stay positive is hard, but you got to stay positive because if you're in the mindset of, nothing's working out and we're bleeding money and this and that, then I believe in manifestation. It's like what's it called? Self-fulfilling prophecy. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Yeah, I think to look at things objectively and look for opportunities and be positive, that's where you're really gonna make a difference.
Yeah, and sometimes you can't get that from yourself, and maybe it takes like a business friend or a
Yeah,
consultant or a coach or something like that to come in and identify it quickly. Because yeah, they were
yeah.
absolutely mind blown when they saw $1.8 million in add to cart value, but only 160K had actually converted. So they're like, oh, obviously we need to do something about this.
Yeah, that's
So yeah,
crazy.
looking in the right areas and getting good advice is going to help as well.
Yeah. Okay, so now profit margins. What, in your opinion, what sort of profit margins should a business have to effectively advertise?
Yeah, so this is going to vary from business to business, obviously, depending on their goals
Mm.
and their current situation. As a general rule of thumb, you aim for 50%. So you have 20 to 30% left for advertising or other things in your business, and then like some money left in your back pocket as well. But say
Yeah.
if you're a business that's sort of wanting to scale quickly, acquire as many new customers as fast as possible, going through a really aggressive growth phase, like you could be like a 50% margin, but you might actually spend 40% of that on Facebook ads, for example. Or you
Yeah.
could be at a stage, maybe you've just had a kid. This has definitely happened, not happened, like it's happened to my clients where they've had a kid and they're sort of just gone, hey, I'm at a pretty comfy stage. So they got that 50% margin. They might only need to spend 20% of that month on
Mm.
month to just sit where they are currently. So then they're
Yeah.
keeping 30% at the end of the day. But yeah, I think as a
Mm.
general rule of thumb, you're aiming towards 50%. Obviously, the higher the better if you can sell it at
Yeah.
120% more than what it actually cost you to produce. And obviously, that's great.
Amazing.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's not really reality in most cases.
Yeah. I think it's good to know as a minimum because I've definitely had clients in the past, and I know you probably have as well, where they don't have the margin to push or even really compete in certain periods in particular industries. Like it can be quite competitive. Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
especially if you're like, I don't know how drop shipping brands manage it, but if you're selling the exact same product
Mm,
as all these others and it's just a race to the bottom, like, I don't even know how they make profit at the end of the day.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know either. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Anyway.
obviously, yeah, like calculators like working out your break even ROAS and stuff like that, if you are spending money on
Mm,
advertising, is super important.
mm,
And just knowing if you put in $1, you need to make three to actually break even, for example. And then anything
yeah.
above that, you can sort of just keep reinvesting that money into your advertising.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so speaking of advertising, what do you think are the top three most important marketing tools for small to medium enterprises, SMEs? If an SME only has the resources to focus on one, two, or three marketing channels, which would you recommend?
Okay, so I'll start with the marketing channels I recommend. Probably going to be a bit biased here, but I still believe
Yeah.
Facebook ads is definitely the best because it gives you the best of both worlds. You get the retargeting, but you also get to go out to new audiences. There's a creative
Yeah.
element to it as well, rather than, say, Google, where it's just text based, but they're obviously higher intent. And then, yeah, TikTok as well, for small, medium sized businesses, jumping on TikTok, creating those daily vlogs, like building that relationship with the audience if you are a founder and stuff like that. Those
Yeah.
would be my top three channels at the moment. TikTok, you sort of get those lower quality audiences and they don't convert as well as,
Mm,
say, Facebook or Google, but it's good for that like viral effect, getting like
yeah,
lots of eyeballs in onto your product.
for
In terms
sure.
of marketing, like Chrome extensions or apps that I'm using at the moment, one I'm using a lot at the moment is Foreplay. So that's like an inspiration platform. So whether you go to the Facebook ads library or best TikTok ads, you can actually save them. So it's all into one like swipe file essentially. So that's a
Mm,
really good one. I'm using a truckload at the moment. I never start an ad from scratch these days just because I've built that up so much. And
mm,
another one I'm using at the moment, probably maybe it is helpful for e-commerce businesses, but Tango. So that pretty much just screen records for you all your button clicks when you're creating SOPs or how-to tutorials and stuff like that. So that's really useful.
mm,
If, say, a client needs to give me access to a business manager or their website or something like that, I just screen record that and then
mm,
it's bang, instant, rather than just screenshotting it, copy pasting it into a Word doc or something like that, and it's real painful. So
yeah,
Tango makes that super easy. And then um, yeah, I'd say obviously ChatGPT. Everyone's sort of using it
yeah,
at the moment. So learning how to actually get good responses out of
yeah.
ChatGPT. A lot of people
That's
go
what I was gonna
pretty
say.
surface level,
Yeah.
but yeah, obviously ChatGPT as well.
Yeah, I think that's the thing about AI. Like, it can be super useful, but you just need to know how to use it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. which is definitely a little bit of a learning curve. I think for me, the top three channels I would recommend it like, and I know it's so heavily depends on what type of business you have and also your brand and most importantly your audience, like where they're hanging out, and of course your resources, because I think certain things like Google ads, I've found it can be really difficult because only one person can have the top spot, right? And it's like you're competing with brands that are much bigger than you are. um so it can be difficult if you have limited resources. But yeah, definitely having a look, getting to know who your audience is, where they hang out, and then adjusting your marketing strategy accordingly. And that's how you select your channels. That's what I think. But definitely, like, I personally also love Facebook ads
Yeah.
because, yeah, you get, like you said, you get a mix of both. You get the visual. A lot of people are on social media. Yeah,
Yeah. Not
100%.
just on, they're addicted.
Yeah. Okay. So how can businesses create content while low on time? Because it is still important. Maybe not the most important thing, but it is still super important.
Yeah, so if you're low on time, hopefully you have the money to invest in freeing up that time. And if you don't have the money, then hopefully you have the time, or you're not really allocating your time effectively. So
Mm,
I would, if you're stuck in that situation where you're not finding enough time in the week, either one, you need to invest in like a social media management service, or get a consultant on like myself to run your Facebook ads and stuff like that. Or if
mm,
you are both time and money poor, then you need to go back and have a look at what you're focusing on during the week and where you can actually free up some time. Because
yeah,
content is super important, and that's going to be one of the biggest levers you can pull if you want to generate sales. So it is very important,
yeah,
because if nobody's seeing your product consistently, then they're just going to forget about you at the end of the day.
yeah, for sure. I think one of the best ways that I've seen and that I've started using personally is to get little bits of content while you're doing other things. So for an e-commerce store, for example, if you have a like shoot day, have your phone out the whole time. Like have a few phones out and just
Yeah.
be getting content the whole time. Yeah, even like moments in the office, whatever makes sense for your brand and your audience. Multitasking, I think, really helps, like getting the content while you're already doing something else.
Yeah, that's been on my to-do list for quite a while now. It's just to film stuff I'm working on during the day, or if I go grab a
Yeah,
coffee, or even if I'm out playing golf, just take some pictures or quick
yeah,
little snaps. And like people just like, nobody really cares what they're watching as long as there's fast transitions, a voiceover effect with some trending music, like just
mm,
distract people from the actual content. But you
mm,
also need to be posting stuff that's relevant, obviously. So if you're an e-commerce
yeah,
brand, packing orders, day in the life sort of
yeah,
stuff, customer complaints, answering them, stuff
yeah,
like that. So yeah, there's a whole
mm,
range of stuff you can be doing. And in the beginning, I've been posting like one post, at least one post per day for over a year now. And in the
wow,
start, it was definitely more time consuming than what it is now. It's because I've got
mm,
a lot more efficient when I'm creating videos. I'm not so much
yeah,
focusing on how my voice sounds or how my face looks on the inverted
yeah,
camera or stuff like that, that you do
mm,
when you first start creating that content. So yeah, it does take a while to build that efficiency as well.
yeah, for sure. Um, okay. How to maximize marketing efforts without maxing out time and money.
Yeah, so the number one thing I would be focusing on would be conversion rate optimization, or like
Mm-hmm.
optimizing your email marketing. So
Mm,
those are two things that you own. So your email marketing as your first
mm,
party data, you own that list already, and
yeah,
they're already familiar with you because they've signed up to it. So
yeah,
making sure that's optimized as hell. A lot of Shopify brands will just use the automated abandoned cart sequence, but there is so much more
yeah,
you can do with softwares like Klaviyo and stuff like that, segmenting out your
yeah,
list and running different offers or like marketing campaigns during that. And
yeah.
then yeah, obviously conversion rate optimization, just making sure everybody who comes to the website has the highest chance of converting as possible. And at the moment, we're
Mm,
using a good software called Heatmap. So that
mm,
analyzes all the clicks on the website, all the buttons, and it'll actually give you a revenue per click, or yeah,
mm,
revenue per click. I can't remember how they frame it, but pretty much every button on the website gets this value. And yeah, we've been able to make some changes on a client's website over the last month or so, just bringing
yeah,
up those high revenue per click buttons or products up so people don't have to go looking for it because their attention spans are so small. And he's just done his
yeah,
best month ever just by optimizing that, increasing some spend as well. But
yeah,
yeah, that was really helpful. So just doing little
yeah.
things like that and trying to constantly improve and make everything more efficient.
For sure. I completely agree. Focusing on your owned media. That's what we call it in my studies. It's like, yeah, stuff that you own. And the thing is about Klaviyo, like if you get someone like myself to come on and manage that for you, the packages start at like, I mean, depending on who you go with, they can start from about $600 per month. But usually I generate like over $1,000 per email and send out the basic package, 4 to 5 emails per month. So it's like the return on that, even though they're warm already, half of that is from campaigns and the other half is automated flows. Like if you don't want to bring someone on, you can always do it yourself as well. It may not perform as well, or you could become an expert and it could be amazing. But automated flows, like especially abandoned carts, just reminding people because maybe they were about to buy and then they got busy, or you might want to add an incentive or something, and then that's all they needed to decide to make the purchase. It's really the little things that end up being the most impactful, I think.
Yeah, that's pretty much why every business owner says they're not an overnight success. So they've
Yeah,
taken years to build it up, and it's just those small little steps along the way that will, yeah, make you look like an overnight success one day.
yeah, for sure. Okay. Quick fire, hit or miss, ads addition. Okay. Static images.
Definitely a hit.
Why?
So pretty much across 80% of our client accounts, so the best performing assets since about Black Friday last year. So we really noticed like Facebook like flipped a switch. So around Black
Mm,
Friday last year, like our top performing assets were images, despite spending thousands on videos, getting UGC and everything like that. And the images just absolutely crushed it. There was lower competition around that time as well. Consumers can like read that info, like what's on the image, much faster than video. And yeah, it's just been performing ever since then. So yeah, I definitely love image, and yeah, it's our best performing asset in 80% of accounts at the moment.
video.
Video, I think it's a touch overrated at the moment because a lot
Okay.
of brands don't do it well. So what
Mm,
I mean by that is they'll go out and pay or free gift a UGC creator or something like that. They'll get a low quality one back. Obviously, UGC when it's done well is very good. Or if you're jumping on like certain trends and stuff like that, or day in life videos and stuff like that, can be very good. But if you're just using like CapCut templates, most
mm,
of the time they flop. I've definitely experienced that myself. So if you're not going to sit down and dedicate like hours to video content, then I would probably just stick with images, and it's a bit hit or miss within our accounts at the moment.
mm. Influencer marketing.
I believe that's pretty overrated at the moment,
So,
just because organic reach is sort of dead. Like you might see an influencer with 1 million followers, they're probably reaching, I don't know, like 10, 20,000 people per post.
mm,
And then from that, maybe I don't know, 0.5% of those actually convert. Or if they do have like, obviously, if you get a really good influencer, they have a highly engaged audience, then it can be good and lead to good
mm,
success. But most influencers don't have that power over their audience, especially the TikTok ones where, yeah, you're just tapping follow.
mm,
You might see them pop up every few days, and yeah, it's sort of lower quality, lower attention spans and stuff like that. So I think it's pretty
mm.
overrated at the moment.
traffic campaigns, like Facebook ad traffic campaigns.
Dead. So definitely
Yes.
miss on those. So transparently, I'm using them within a couple of accounts for myself at the moment, but they're on pretty large marketing budgets, and we're just trying to get as
Mm.
many cheap eyeballs on the product as possible. And the owners know that it's sort of like a loss leader because those
Mm-hmm.
conversions aren't going to come in anytime soon. So we're just trying to build as big audiences as possible at the moment. But for brands
Yeah.
with smaller budgets, definitely focusing on conversion or sales 100% of the time is going to be your best, putting your best foot forward to actually generating conversions from your efforts.
Yeah. Choosing to opt out of big promo periods like Black Friday, Cyber Monday.
Definitely a miss for me. So I might be a bit biased again because I'm a marketer. But yeah, I don't really understand brands who opt out of Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So a lot of more like your eco-friendly brands will sort of opt out for it because they don't want mass consumption and things like that. But there's different offers you can weave into your marketing message and stuff like that to sort of
Yeah.
go around it. So one, for example, if like you're doing play mats, I know of a brand that does one tree planted for every mat purchased. Instead of only doing
Mm.
one, maybe Black Friday you'll give them like 10% off, but we'll do 10 times the amount of trees planted per mat
Yeah.
purchased or something like that. Just finding different ways around it. Yeah, I don't really understand why businesses would opt out of the biggest consumer spending periods of the year.
Yeah.
Just doesn't make sense in my
Yeah.
head.
On that note, sorry, I know it's meant to be quick fire, but I think it's an opportunity to add value to your customer. And so it's like, think about how you can do that within your brand. So if you are a more eco-friendly brand, like you said, maybe you can increase the number of trees planted, or think of ways that you can be generous, I suppose, and
Yeah,
ways that you
another
can add value.
another one that one of my clients does really well is they donate 20% of their profits during that month to charity.
Mm,
They have like a Christmas jumper they make, so yeah, 20% of those goes to a charity of their choice, and that's a
yeah,
way to sort of get around it by giving people a
yeah,
discount as well.
yeah. And being really vocal about it so you can still compete with the other brands. Because at the end
Yeah,
of the day, like, people like a sale. People like a sale.
yeah, especially
Um,
when people are on limited budgets due to the cost of living.
yeah, exactly, exactly. Yeah. Okay. Boosting posts.
Definitely dead. Yeah, I
Mm,
don't recommend that for any e-commerce brand at the moment. Spoke a little bit about somebody who was doing it earlier when they had $1.8 million in add to carts. They weren't optimizing for
mm,
the right objective. Boosting post is
mm,
exactly that. You're optimizing for video views and maybe a little bit of
mm,
engagement as well. You're not actually optimizing for sales through the ads manager. They're completely different. Boosting
mm,
post won't generate you any ads. I had a client and I was making a bit of a case study on them today where they were boosting posts for months and months. I think they spent around $6,000. Their cost per purchase was $351 and their AOV was only $120. They were running it like a
yeah,
0.26 ROAS and they thought it was
yeah,
going all right because they could see sales coming in organically and stuff like that. So they just thought their
mm,
marketing budget was contributing to that. But once
yeah,
they actually got into the ad account and audited it, I was like, no, you're nowhere near profitable with these
yeah,
campaigns. And then once we
yeah.
actually optimized for the right thing, their cost per purchase dropped to $21 over the weekend. It was ridiculous. So
That's crazy.
just that difference in marketing objectives that you're using on Facebook, whether it be a traffic campaign or boosting post or optimizing for sales, can have a huge impact on your success.
Yeah. Okay. Sending campaign emails weekly.
I don't know too much about email marketing, and I've personally never purchased from an email. But I
Mm,
do see a few brands popping into my inbox. I never open them. But I mean, if
mm,
it's generating you money, then and you're not selling and not pushing an offer all the time, and maybe more like brand experience, like what's going on, that sort of thing. I guess it could be okay. It really depends on what sort of brand you're doing it for. I guess.
mm.
What do you think?
I think it in most cases, it's a positive thing because even if people aren't opening the emails, I know this is like controversial, but even if people aren't opening emails, they're seeing your business name pop up once a week. And it's just constantly reminding them.
Yeah, it's like a billboard, I guess.
Exactly, exactly. And then if they do open the emails, then it's like a great sign they're learning about your brand, you're building that connection with the customer. So I personally think it's great, but I also think it's a really good thing if you can give the customer the like autonomy to decide, do they want to receive emails once per month, once per week? I wouldn't do once per day.
Yeah.
But yeah, letting them decide how often they want to receive them, what they're interested in, I think that's really good as well.
Well, there you have it. Unfortunately, this is the end of the episode, but if you're looking for more, be sure to find more episodes on the platform you're viewing on, or head over to Instagram to find tons of valuable clips.